let's take this debate forward. Get more political voices. Politics dictating opposition to farm reforms. Is this about politics or is this about economics? Is the reforms to render the farmers dependent on corporates as the opponents claim? Are they anti-farmer bills or is this a far-sighted reform? Is this, as we were told yesterday by one of India's leading agriculture economists, India's 1991 delicensing moment for the farm sector? I'm joined by Sachin Pilot, the Rajasthan Congress leader and someone who's been seen as a leader identifying with the issues of the farmer, and Jai Panda, the BJP's vice president and articulate spokesperson. I don't want to do a face-off, as I promised my two guests. They are friends, as they call themselves, so they don't want to fight with each other, but I want to give each of you a chance to be heard. Sachin Pilot, let me start with you, because the fact is that the Congress itself in its manifesto had spoken about dismantling the agriculture or repealing Agriculture Produce Market Committees Act and making trade in agriculture produce free from all restrictions. This was section 11 of your manifesto. And you had said we will establish farmers markets with adequate infrastructure and support in large villages and small towns to enable the farmer to bring his produce or her produce and freely market the same. What is the BJP doing different to what you were doing in your manifesto?
What the Congress party, Rajdeep, promised in the manifesto was very clear, that even if we have to dismantle or reform the APMC, we had promised much larger, greater investment by the government to create much more larger markets for the farmers so that they get better remuneration. What this ordinance has done is actually 85% of the small farmers will have no infrastructure available to them. So this sort of so-called reform is not reform. It's basically the government's inability and lack of determination to procure fair prices and to give fair prices to the farmers.
Mr. Pilot, let me get, the Prime Minister today said that it's not as if the minimum support price scheme will, MSP is going overnight. He says MSP will be retained. Those who want to avail of the facilities of the market can do so. That's what he claims.
Well, Prime Minister had to defend himself because there was huge opposition, not just by the farmers and by the opposition parties, but within his own government. Like you just said, one of their oldest ally has quit from the cabinet, and for no good reason, except for the fact that they understand what the groundswell of emotions are. If you think Congress party is misleading the farmers, then across India, across states, people are coming out in large numbers to oppose this move because the simple question is, Rajiv, will an elected government be more sympathetic to the farmers or a corporate which is there to make profit and money? In a few years' time, you'll have strong monopolies, you'll have small marginal farmers who will be dependent on these people for their money coming in. In fact, I think less than 5% of the procurement is done on MSP. So it's the government as a fallback option, as a safety net that has existed for so many years. We want to dismantle all that and allow people to come and buy crops from people, which is fine if you have the access, the investment, and the ecosystem to create that. How do you expect a 2-acre landowner from rural Rajasthan to go to Delhi, Noida, or Chandigarh to sell their farm? And look at the nuances in the ordinance. It says up to 3 days for payments. And at the SDM level, it'll be all resolutions will be accounted for. How do you expect a small farmer to go to an SDM or a collector to resolve that? And if there's non-payment, where's the redressal system? There is no assurance and guarantee by the government that the private people who are procuring crops will actually be able to deliver that money. If they renege on their contract, if they fleece the farmers, where's the safety net? So farmers agitated in Corona times. There is economic downturn. The economy is shrinking. At such a time, you bring in an ordinance without consultation. It's a state subject. How many states have signed up for it? I mean, there has to be a larger debate. You just can't do reforms like Notbandi, like, pushing through GST. Suddenly you have this, there is not a single person in the government of India who I think feels for the farmers, is able to communicate and articulate their views. I think the opposition is not just by the political parties and within their own government and ministers, but farmers at large, especially the small and marginal farmers. The large farmers who have access to international markets or big cities in India perhaps might benefit, but the small and marginal farmer is certainly set to lose.
I'm going to come to you in a moment, particularly about the safety net point, but let's hear from Jai Panda on a very important point that Mr. Pilot has made, that this is the government's flaw in this is the way you're ramming it through. That's part of the problem. You're pushing it through. You haven't done the adequate consultation with stakeholders, and you've used COVID times to push this through. Supply links are broken. Now we are going to do the dismantling of APMC. Wrong time, wrong method adopted by the government, even if the intent, the overall intent may be useful in terms of freeing up the markets to the farmer.
Let me just take apart the argument that you have just summarized. Number one, the APMC and the Essential Commodities Act, they belong to an era of the 1950s and 60s when there was a shortage of food. And these laws were restrictive on farmers. It restricted them as to whom they could sell their produce to and where they could sell. Now, for several decades, India has gone from being a shortage nation in grains to huge surplus. And everybody of any standing has been asking for the repeal of these acts and to free up the farmers so that they can sell their produce to whoever they want, wherever they want. Now, this was in the Congress's manifesto, as you have pointed out. The word is it's very clear. It says Congress will repeal the APMC Committees Act. The same thing about the Essential Commodities Act. The reality is like this. The farmers will be able to sell to whoever they want, wherever they want, and that empowers the seller. As opposed to last 60, 70 years, it has restrained the seller, the farmer.
Does the small and marginal farmer have that clout, Mr. Panda? You know, the large farmer can have that clout to go to the market. The small and marginal farmer who comprises 86% of India's farm population, does he have that clout across the world? America subsidizes, protects its farmer. The farmer needs protection.
Rajdeep, you're parroting my friend Sachin Pilot's argument. Please try to be more neutral. Let me explain this. It is today.
No, please. I am giving you the other argument.
You must allow me.
Yes,
you must allow me to explain the BJP's and the government's point of view.
Please do.
You must give me that courtesy. Let me explain. The reality today and for the past 60 years is that the empowered people are the middlemen, the small number of limited middlemen. It's a buyer's market. So when you reverse that, when the seller can sell to whoever he wants, wherever he wants, it empowers particularly the small farmers. They don't have to go to New York to sell. The mandis today, which are controlled by a small number of middlemen, will be open to anybody to come and purchase. The farmer can sell to anybody. These sort of restrictions are not there in any other sector in the country, and that is why farmers' incomes have not been rising. Now, let's be very clear about something. There is hypocrisy which is behind this propaganda to try to get the farmers to not understand this properly. Now, my friend Harsimrat Badal explained her position. I don't want to go into that, but there was something very crucial that she said. She mentioned that parties out there trying to bhadkao the farmers. That is essentially what is happening. Now, remember, everybody. You mentioned Ashok Gulati, one of our foremost agri-economists, who said this is the 1991 moment.
Yes.
Not just him, Shamika Ravi, another economist. Every economist of standing in the last 50 years has asked for this. Not just economists, farmers' leaders, the late Sharad Joshi, who spent a lifetime campaigning for farmers' rights. So, let's be very clear. The misrepresentation that's going on.
Sir,
the misrepresentation that is going on.
Mr. Panda, just a minute. Yes. There's a division within farmer groups, within economists. I just want to come to one point, though, and I want your view on this. Today, Mr. Chidambaram, former finance minister, said the grave flaw in the ordinances is that they do not stipulate the price which the farmer shall get shall not be less than MSP. So his concern which he has voiced, is tomorrow when a farmer goes, let's say, to a private procurer, if a mandi is set up by a private company there, that person may not give them the MSP price which today he is guaranteed. And remember, only 6 to 8% farmers in any case are covered by MSP.
So this is a fundamentally irrational argument, because this is based on the premise that, first of all, the argument was being made that MSP is going away. That's simply not true. The Prime Minister has clarified. The Agriculture Minister has clarified. Now, the MSP is a safety net. Now, what we have had all these decades is just the MSP and a small regulated mandi where the middlemen, the buyers, had the power. Now, today, the farmers have the freedom to sell to whoever they want. And since the MSP is not going away, no matter what the prices are being offered in the various mandis, the MSP safety net continues to be there. So this is just disingenuous. That's simply not correct. Now, look at MSP. All kinds of vague arguments have been made against MSP. But the reality is, in the last 5 years, during the Modi government, the MSP on paddy has gone up 2.4 times, almost 2.5 times. The MSP on wheat has gone up 1.7 times. So, it's not that this government is against MSP as a safety net, but to introduce competition to the farmers' markets, to give farmers choice. It is irrational to say that it harms farmers. You can legitimately argue that it harms middlemen.
Let me take that to you, Sachin Pilot, because the fact is, for 70 years, we tried a particular type of protectionism safety net for the farmers. MSP was just one instrument used. And the feeling is that as Jai Panda suggests, middlemen benefited, commission agents benefited, political parties linked to the APMC structure benefited. Did the small and marginal farmer really benefit? So to that extent, if competition is being introduced without dismantling, according to Jai Panda MSP, why not try it? Why not give that opportunity to the farmer that we've given other sectors of the economy?
Competition. I think there'll be collusion. Once the government is out of the scene, two private big importers or corporates can join hands and squeeze the damn farm. I'm saying to you, Rajdeep, if a small farmer from Ajmer, does he have the wherewithal to go to Bombay or Delhi or Nasik? And the ordinance says up to 3 days for paying the farmer. I'm saying, where will the poor farmers stay logistic-wise? I mean, the infrastructure is not there. And the reality on the ground is a small farmer does not have the bandwidth to go and sell to a large importer or a corporate house. I think what the government should have done was to have a scientific temperament, to have investments in it, to reform the market sector. I think if APMC is to be removed, there must be a better alternative. The government just can't wash its hands off and say, well, let the market...
So what would the Congress have done? What would the Congress, which had already decided that you needed to repeal the APMC Act, what would you have done?
I think first you have to give a minimum support price where even the private buyer cannot buy less than that price. That's a safety net. That's an insurance a farmer must. I mean, if there's a glut in the market, farmer will go into debt. There is the record number of suicides that is happening today, Rajdeep. This ordinance will not help mitigate that risk. The farmer is still at risk. He's very vulnerable. He needs more cooperative farming. He needs much larger agricultural lending. They need technical inputs. They need reforms in the market sector. But they can't. Government can't wish away from its responsibility by saying no MSP now. The PM and the government may say MSP will remain. But time will show you that if it is pushed through, and we will try all we can to stop it, once it's pushed through, private players will become interested because farmer sector, textile sector, all have lobbies. The farmers have no lobby. That's why the government can do what it wants without having a parallel structure that is efficient.
The existing system, though, has not stopped. Sachin Pilot, existing system has not stopped farm suicides. Farmers are still dependent at times on the money lender. Farmers are still dependent on the vagaries of vendors. Let's be honest. A system has been tried, and at times the system has there have been loopholes in the system.
You think all the farmers who are agitating are all Congress supporters? They're all driven by political parties. They're fearing for their livelihoods. I mean, they fear that the fact that there is no insurance policy, there is no credit line being given to us, MSP might be removed. They will never be able to get fair price for their input that they put into grow the crops. There is fear. It's not about communication. I think the government of India is very good in communicating. In fact, it has a lot of monopoly in how it uses platforms to communicate what it wants to communicate. But here, there was no consultation. If their own allies, their own government members are not supporting this act, how do you expect the farmers and the opposition to say yes to it? It's absolutely unpalatable, not just to the opposition parties, but also to all stakeholders. And by the way, I'm for one saying that if middlemen can be removed, yes, please remove them. But you can't put the farming community at risk and then take this chance. Look at Bihar. It was a state where APMC was removed. What is the tangible benefit that Bihar has seen? It's been done in a very rushed manner.
You know, that's a good point. And Bihar is often cited by agriculture economists who are against these ordinances, Jai Panda, to suggest that, look, you first have to put the structures in place. You first have to ensure that private players will actually come into areas where today the APMC mandis exist. You can't just dismantle the old system without having the structures ready for new. And that's the big concern which perhaps farmers have. Let's not just call it a Congress-led opposition this time. There are regional parties which are opposing it, and there are farmers' organizations also, especially in North India, opposing it, because the structures don't exist. This is again Modi-nomics ramming its way through, is what the opposition alleges, without consultation, without taking states into confidence.
Okay, please give me time to rebut both Sachin and you, because there is a long list of straw man arguments here that need to be exposed. Number one, there is no ramming through because for many decades, people have been asking for it, both economists, agri-economists, and farmers' leaders, as I've already summarized. And this is not being rammed through. It is being done by parliament, by majority in parliament. So that argument is done. Second argument
rammed
is
by
again
a parliament majority, Mr. Panda.
Let me explain. You know, you didn't keep interrupting Sachin. So please give me the same
I interrupted him also, but go ahead. Please don't.
Please give me the same time. Please give me the same. I know, Rajdeep, you struggle to be neutral when it comes to the BJP, but please try.
You've also become the same, but go ahead.
So give me a chance.
Yes.
So the second straw man argument is that somehow this is going to disempower the farmers. It actually disempowers middlemen. And farmers don't have to go to Bombay or New York, as Sachin makes another strawman argument. Farmers will be selling in their local areas to mandis, which will be developed by many new players that will come up. And government is not going away. Third strawman argument is that the MSP is going to go away. So what if the mandis offer them lower price? That's precisely why MSP is there. If mandis offer lower prices, farmers don't have to sell. They will be under no compulsion. They will sell to government. Fourth strawman argument is 3 days payment. You think today the mandis are giving them only cash on delivery? They are being exploited by money lenders. 3 days is a vast improvement. It requires the district collector to ensure that farmers get paid within 72 hours. That's a great improvement. Now, another strawman argument. You gave the Bihar example. The Bihar example is precisely why this needs to be done on a national level. Because for true competition to happen, mandis can't exist only within a district or within a state. So because there could be shortage of grains in another state, so somebody has to go transport it there. It's not going to be farmers. Farmers will sell to the mandis, but buyers will come to mandis only if they can transfer it to other places economically. For that, the competition is required. This is precisely why every stakeholder has been asking for this to be done on a national level, not on a state level.
Okay.
And that's what's being done.
Okay, I think we've heard both sides. I've given you equal time, despite what Mr. Panda's reservations were. We can play this back, and I'm glad that two of you, you told me before the show, are friends, did not fight with each other like you do on television, and therefore you got an opportunity to have your say. Sachin Pilot, good to have you back on air and talking about an issue which you are concerned about. And Jai Panda, good that you've come with muscle with all your facts. Thank you both very much for joining me and giving us two different perspectives of the two major political parties of the country.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.